Hey guys, what it do? It's your boy Supreme Uchiha the God, man. You know what we just read. You saw the goddamn thumbnail. This bitch is beautiful. I also got a IRL story for you guys. Now, this is going to be interesting because I want to speak it into existence. My IRL story, I want to speak it into existence. So I'm going to have a conversation with y'all about it. And I don't know. We're just gonna see. We're just gonna see how that shit go. You know what I'm saying? But first, let's obviously talk about Unordinary. This chapter was beautiful. You know what I'm saying? I really, really like this chapter. I actually like John a lot in this chapter. You know what I'm saying? When he kind of he's having this argument with himself, like, damn, bro, like no matter what I do, I'm considered a monster anyway. You know what I'm saying? When I'm weak as fuck, people call me weird as shit because I'm faking to be a cripple, and people are like, nah, he a cripple anyway, and they still orchestrate orchestrize ostracize me ostracize me and vilify me and outcast me, right? And when I show that I'm powerful, they do the same anyway. Like, what do I do? Obviously, he doesn't understand balance, which I've talked about before. He doesn't have a grasp of balance. The fact that you don't have to be extreme either way. And John only knows extremes. And this is obviously the problem and the dilemma that he's facing and what his character needs to overcome in order to be good. You know what I'm saying? Or at least viable. As we know throughout the story, the only good character person I can say is truly a good person throughout the whole series thus far is Remi. Nobody else. Nobody else. Blyke has his flaws. Blyke is a pretty decent guy, very close to a really good person, but he's not Remi. You know what I'm saying? And then Seraphina left her responsibilities and applied extra pressure on Arlo, who already had an insane amount of pressure and was reaching breaking point and needed that help until the point he reached breaking point, by taking care of everybody else's responsibility, by being the only one willing to do anything about his responsibility, and do anything with his powers. You know, so he eventually reached, I think in this chapter is when he really, really reached his breaking point. And then, you got everybody else just not being like Isen, obviously, being mean to John and just not, you know what I'm saying, just not being a decent guy. The only person that's been decent and great throughout and just like never done anything I could say negative, at least in the story that's been presented to us, is Remi, right? Remi has been consistent. Now she was introduced a little bit late because she lost her queen role to Seraphina. As soon as Seraphina pulled up, I was like, bruh. Well, actually, she only gained the queen role because Seraphina refused the queen role. And this is the dilemma here with this chapter. I'm very, very disappointed in Arlo. You know what I'm saying? I said it last chapter. I was disappointed in him last chapter for not stepping in and stopping Zeke from doing what he was doing. You know what I'm saying? I really felt like they should have tried to protect John in that moment. Even though, yes, I did say, look, he might react negatively, but I think it was worth the risk. You know what I'm saying? I think they really should have done it and be like, you know what are you trying to do? Why don't you just leave this kid alone? You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, they obviously wanted people to know that he's the Joker. And I think Arlo has been wanting to escape his responsibility. You know what I'm saying? He's been wanting to escape his responsibility because everything has been on his shoulders since Remi's brother, right, left the school. And a lot of people will say, oh, he didn't follow Remi's brother's footsteps, etc., etc., etc. But it's simple. The reason he did not follow his footsteps is because as soon as he left, the school went into absolute anarchy, and he's the one that had to deal with it. And Zeke's way was not working, clearly, because he didn't have a lasting effect, and that was Arlo's problem. He's trying to figure out a method to have a lasting effect that carries through, so that they don't repeat the same chaos every time, that somebody has to stay by themselves and deal with that bullshit. You know what I'm saying? And that's what Arlo had to do. He had to whip the school into shape by himself. And then finally he got a super powerful aide in Seraphina, and then she left all responsibility. You know what I'm saying? And all the other like side guys in the story, they just didn't really do much. It was Arlo dealing with everything. And you can see it by the classmates that are like, yo, you're the one that took care of us. And you see this. They relied on him because he did take care of them. Even though he couldn't take care of every single person, because he's one fucking person, he still took care of them. And their reaction proves what I've been trying to tell y'all, that Arlo been about this life. He been about helping people. But at the same time, I think he's tired. Honestly, you know what I'm saying? I don't think that's an excuse. I really don't think that's a good enough excuse for him. I feel like the author did his character a disservice here. But I'm not 100% sure what direction is going to go. Like, what's kind of the point of Arlo now if he's not even going to be willing to help or do anything about anything? You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like he gets no redemption. You know what I'm saying? I think the only way Arlo could have redeemed himself or could redeem himself as a character is by stopping the monster he helped create. You know what I'm saying? He helped reignite. Yes, he may have had his reasoning for do it and for doing what he did. His actions weren't right, but the reasoning is understandable, right? But at the same time, I feel like his only path to forgiveness and to redemption was and is to be one of the key members that saves John. And the fact that he's just giving up is like, look, you saw him, right? He beat me and the other goddamn royals by himself. What can I do? Like, I pull up there and just gonna get beat anyway, so it's kind of pointless for me to do that and be out here. So like, bro, let me just not bother. You know what I'm saying? And that it really hurt me and disappointed me because I felt like it's not how his character is. This is the same guy that when he realized the school was in absolute destruction, he whipped it back into shape by himself. The same guy that when John took over, he was like, fuck it, John is stronger than me, he can deal with it. And then he saw that, nah, John is being too goddamn bad, I'ma do something about it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm really, really disappointed that he's just like accepting it right now. I don't know if he's just putting on a face, a farce. I don't know what he's doing, but it feels like just mentally he just gave up. He's just like, fuck it. No matter what I try, like I can't beat him anyway. So I'm just gonna give up. It's just, I don't know. It's a weak mentality. As our boy, when you accept defeat, you've lost twice. You know what I'm saying? Ninja would slap this boy. You know what I'm saying? I really feel very, very disappointed by the outcome. Yeah, it makes me dislike Arlo. I'm not gonna lie. This really made me dislike Arlo because it's not how his character has been written thus far. He's a stubborn person. He's a person that believes in justice and believes in certain things. And even though he doesn't go about it the right way a lot of times, but he believes in certain outcomes. And the fact that he's just accepting this as an outcome is disappointing. At the same time, on the opposite spectrum, I'm actually quite, I don't want to say proud of John, but I'm like, you know what I'm saying? John beating up Zeke. Look, we know Zeke deserved the ass whooping, but I didn't think his friends really deserved the ass whooping. But it is what it is. He's destroying him and he's having this mental debate with himself. Like, I can't win, so fuck it. I'm going to just do whatever the fuck I want. They beat me when I was down, so I'm going to keep beating them when they're down. Which is like, I get it, but at the same time, if you don't see the problem with it, like, you were part of the problem because like obviously they probably got beat up till they were down and they were beating other people up till those people are down and you beating them up till they're down and continuing beating them up. So it's like, yeah, it's a cycle. It's repeating itself. You know what I'm saying? Now they're probably gonna be raging and trying to beat up somebody else. And now he's like, if anybody talks shit about me or does anything, it's on sight. Like, I'm beating you just like this. I'm getting you to the hospital. Now, again, he doesn't know that the principal could pull up and smack him up with his fucking pinky, probably. You know what I'm saying? That dude is supposed to be like a level 12 or some shit. Like, he's on a whole different scale. So, like, I don't know. It's kind of interesting. I think the principal probably should have stepped in fucking ages ago, but again, no adults exist in this world ever, apart from Seraphina's mom, just for her little arc that she had way back when her mother tried to use her time manipulation and Seraphina overrid it and like reversed that bitch and slam dunked it. You know what I'm saying? I really think that there's really only two possible outcomes here. Like, I don't see, it can't be because they built up John too nicely as a character in how negative it's become. The build up was really, really well done. And the execution of it was too well done for them to just, oh, he just decides to change. You know what I'm saying? There needs to be something that happens. I think what he needs is to be proven that you don't have to be beaten, like that not everybody will beat you even when you're down. And I think this is where Seraphina comes in. I think Seraphina needs to beat this nigga and then maybe cry or hug him or help him up and be like, yes, it sounds cliche a little bit, but it's kind of the only one that makes sense for this. Because if she beats him when he's down, then it's like, It's the same cycle being repeated. There's no lesson learned. So she just needs to beat him or show him that he can't beat her. And have him just be fucking exhausted or just like, I can't beat you type shit. And her being like, but I still won't beat you. You know what I'm saying? I won't fight you. Like, I don't want to hurt you the way you hurt other people. I don't want this cycle to continue. There has to be some kind of situation similar to that. That's the only thing I think that would make narrative sense. Now, obviously, the author might just pull fucking cloud out of, on my face or some shit and just come up with a completely plausible different direction. But at the same time, I think for me, thus far, I haven't like thought too crazy about it because I don't really want to spoil it for myself. But I think that's probably the best plausible point. Yeah, I do think Arlo should. I really thought he was gonna get his redemption, but I get if he doesn't get his redemption at the same time. But I hope he gets it. Like, probably more than I hope John gets it. Like, because I just feel like this guy was making so much leeway as a character from the asshole prick that we met initially. That is like, it just feels like he just went backwards and beyond where he was. Like, he's worse than when we met him. So it's like him doing nothing, I think, is worse than when we met him. So like, it's disappointing to me, and I'm disappointed in Arlo. It is what it is. That's the chapter. What did I want to tell you guys story time wise? You know what I'm saying? Oh, first, before we even get to that, make sure to subscribe and leave a like and comment and shit, bro. Like, we're really trying to get these numbers up, baby. Actually, I can't tell you the story time because I'm afraid of jinxing it. But I will tell you if it goes down. Basically, I set up a date with this chick. You know what I'm saying? You know, she cute as a bit, you know what I'm saying? She cute as hell, you know what I'm saying? But I haven't like left my house properly in months and months and months. And I don't know, I'm not really one for like dating and like relationships and shit like that. But just conversating with this girl, bro, she has a unique brain, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? She has like a unique brain, bro. And that's what makes it so like that really like, it's like a moth to a flame, bro. Like, I feel like a moth to a flame just by the way she thinks. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I'm hoping that like we could be gang type shit. You know what I'm saying? But I don't want to say too much details. I don't want to say nothing else at the moment. But like, I might keep you guys updated if that's something you guys are interested in. You know what I'm saying? Just the way we want John and Seraphina to be. You know what I'm saying? I'm probably the John and she's Seraphina, like aka she's best girl and I'm John. Cause I might just be a real ass villain, you know what I'm saying? Hey, Uchiha gang, you already know how we be, you know what I'm saying? We get mad all the damn time. But we're like, damn it, John, it's on you now, John. If John cannot get Seraphina, I probably flop too, man. But it's been your boy Supreme Uchiha the God. I love you. Make sure to leave a sub. We're only 43 subs away from our 400 goal. Is it 400? Yeah, I think 400 mark. I think that's, yeah, whatever. The next 100, our goal is that. So make sure to sub. We need 4 subs a day minimum to make it by now, you know what I'm saying? But I know you got this. You guys are Supreme Gang. You guys are Uchiha clan members. Of course you got this. Turn on your Sharingan and Genzo to that subscriber, and I'm out.